Ollie here, and today we're looking at the M-Vave Mk300. This is for the budget-minded guy that wants everything in one box. Now, for what this thing costs, you can buy a 3-knob overdrive for some other people. For what this thing costs, you can buy a cable from an expensive cable company. It's I think, for its feature set, very affordable modeler. Everything in the kitchen sink in there, including your amps, IR loading, effects, different chains, programmability, a swell pedal or an expression pedal built in, and the whole damn thing even runs on batteries. It's pretty ridiculous. Does it have, right from the start I tell you this, does it have great sounds? No. It has acceptable sounds. You can get better sounds. If you buy yourself a Tone X1, it's going to sound more realistic and it's going to sound better, closer to an actual amp, not like a budget modeler. But that doesn't give you the effects. It doesn't give you stereo XL out and so on and so on and so on. So this is always how much money are you willing to spend? What features are you looking for? What functionality do you need? What compromises are you willing to make within that price bracket? Now, if you can spend all the money in the world, get yourself a Fractal FM9. Get yourself a Tone Master from Fender. I'm looking at that over there. But that's $1,500. Not the price of an overdrive, which is what the M-Vave Mk300 is. First, we take it out of the box.
A box on the table, it's calling my name. The tape's holding secrets, a treasure to claim. Fingers twitch like thunder, the moment's alive. Landon Bailey's ready, the tone's gonna thrive. What's in the box? What's in the box? Could be magic, could be shock. Unbox the noise. Crank it loud, crank it loud. Twist the knobs, make the crowd proud. A world of sound in my hands tonight.
Okay, let's do some quick handheld product shots, some sounds, so you know what we're talking about. So before we get to an actual song that I recorded with it, because it can actually be used, even though it's budget and the sounds aren't the very greatest, but if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely record release-ready music with it. You don't believe me? Just wait. So we're going to take a look at it. It's on the table right here next to me. This is about how big it is. It's relatively small. You could probably slip this into the front pocket of a gig bag. Did I change my volume now? No, I'm good. We have 4-foot switches with changeable LED lighting, which is nice. You can hold them at the same time. We have the tuner, which actually works rather nicely. Oh, where am I here? Come on. Pretty precise. Done. This switches your presets back and forth, right? These are controls. So you can just determine what these do. See, right now I'm increasing volume. You can see preset volume, but these things are obviously programmable. Do you see on the top something changes? So you can do things, different things what you want. Here's a preset list. Drums, if you absolutely wanted that, and then so if you want an accompaniment with drums, that's relatively easy to do. I'm just realizing one of the things that bugged me while I was programming it is that the unlit status of these is not really legible. Can you read that? It would be nice if that was a 2-color LED, so everything was white and then maybe orange or whatever, or green when you go to the on status. However, we always have to consider the price, because what we're looking at right now, I found on eBay Germany for 165 bucks. That's insane for a, metal chassis. This feels relatively sturdy. Everything's pretty sturdy. LED rings. For what you're getting, some compromises have to be made. Push the home button, get out of there. You have your blocks right here, and you can see the blocks right there. What is that block? Who really knows? You got to turn it on. It's the wah block. And you can see on the left side here, different wahs. A sense wah, that's what we want. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's look at the general features here. 4-foot switches, direct access buttons, programmable access buttons, master, parameter knob. These are the blocks. Gonna turn that off again. See, just by clicking it. So if you click it once, it goes to that page, but then you click it and turn it on and off. But let's look in the back. Expression input for a pedal 2, guitar input, MIDI input, and apparently has Bluetooth MIDI. How do I know that? Well, I'll show you. XLR out, which is ridiculous. There's an aux in, headphone out, a secondary output in 1/4 inch, and the on-off, and there's USB-C. And you can see this thing is battery powered. How do I know it has Bluetooth MIDI? Well, check this out. I have a MIDI switcher on the table. It's clearly not connected to this. It is connected to a Bluetooth MIDI splitter on the back. So when you look at my screen right here, it's switching. I never connected that. I never set anything up, but when I'm switching this MIDI switcher, somehow there's a wireless signal coming to it. So it is responding to Bluetooth MIDI in the room. That's pretty crazy, right? So it can do that if you wanted to. You can also select your presets with the parameter knob and you push it. The parameter knob can also be pushed. So it's a pretty straightforward box that actually is straightforward to program. You can see what's happening here. There's an EQ on, which is right now on guitar EQ, so we're just going to keep that. But there's a reverb, and that's... Just turn that off. We have cap. There's a whole bunch of caps. And there's amp. So right now we're on the amps, and because we don't have a lot of real estate on the display, it's really hard to see what is actually happening there. So once you go on it, yeah, it shows you, but what's the 30, 40, 50, 50S? We have no idea, right? So you have to go on them to really know what's going on. But this should be... really clean. So what do I want? I don't want the wah, the lo-fi, or the whatever. I want a compressor. Bam. And then we turn it on. Reverb. Nope, that's the loop. Stop the loop. Spring. On. So now we have some basic parameters down here, which is easy to control with the direct access knobs. If you want more parameters, you click the parameter button and it goes to the next page until you're done and it comes back. Relatively straightforward to program. So for the track, I actually programmed some tremolos, filtering delays, stuff. We have a modulation section. We have a delay section with loads of delays. We have an overdrive section. I mean, we could go through all this stuff for ages, but that would just be ridiculous. So what do we have here? We got, it's really tough to see what that actually is, because there's not a lot of space. There's a save button, and then there's a global button, which helps you defining the pedal, other Bluetooth, or maybe I should turn that off. There you go. Now it's not reacting to my switcher. It actually, at least it shouldn't. Good, now it isn't. But it definitely was receiving Bluetooth MIDI. Very interesting, because you could put this anywhere on stage and just have a Bluetooth MIDI switcher. But I mean, why would you? We have quick access with these three knobs, and you define what these do, right? This is up to you. This is amp, this is gain, whatever, and this is your master. It's pretty straightforward to program, really. The only thing that really bugs me is that this list is hard to read unless you get to it. What is that? Mesa mark something. That's the thing that really slows you down. What's that? Delay. Okay, these are shorter, which makes a lot more sense. Love a good filter delay. Let's turn that off. Let's change things. You can see getting around it's really, really quick. However, one thing I noticed, where is that? This is absolutely, utterly horrible. The pitch stuff, stay the fuck away from. That's an octave above and an octave below. Octave is the easiest pitch to do. That is just absolutely ghastly. So the same thing with the octave. Not happening. So anything pitch related, do not do, okay? So we're gonna go through some presets after I played the track for you. All the guitar sounds in this track are that thing. And that thing is around $200. On Amazon, $229. On eBay, you can get it for $165. So we're going to say around about $200 for a full modeler. Are those the best sounds in the world? Absolutely not. For $200, you're getting all that. That's pretty amazing. Including battery power, XLR out, Bluetooth MIDI, blah, 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 a swell pedal that can be, I mean, it offers a lot. Is a Helix better? Yes. Is a Pod Express better? Or Pod Go it's called. Yeah, but it's also 500 something, not 200. Bang for the buck, you're getting a very, very fair product. Here's the track.
They built the walls so high and long, telling us where we belong. But cracks appear, can't be denied, and I keep the flame inside. Whisper grows, a tidal sound. We rise together, never bound inside the waves. We find our voice. We break the chains. We make a choice. No one can tell us who to be. Inside the wave is where we're free. Their rules are strict, their words confined, but dreams ignite like stars that shine. They can't control what hearts will claim, a glowing ocean free from chains. We rise together, never bound inside the wave. We find our voice. We break the chains. We make the choice. No one can tell us who to be. Inside the wave is where we're free.
Look, you impressed or not? I'm most certainly impressed because that I would release and not bat an eye. However, I didn't go for the classic rock sounds and that stuff because it doesn't really shine there. I went for more processed sounds, which is fine. Let's get a couple of presets in here. Now that, for example, isn't Can you play a cover gig with that? Yes. Can you get by at a wedding? Absolutely. Are you going to be the happiest camper in the world? No, but that's not the idea. The idea is very affordable, battery powered, maybe backup solution, maybe practice solution. Maybe that's all the money you have, $200. And you know what? That's fine. It'll do many jobs. 160 possible presets are in there. Greatest sounds in the world? Nah. Modeling sounds that are on par with most of what the world has to offer at $200? Absolutely. Can you get better sounds at that money? Tonex, yes. Other companies will sell you a 3-knob overdrive. And Tonex will give you 2 presets and no ability to edit them on the fly. Doesn't give you a load of presets. It doesn't give you drums. It doesn't give you a looper. It doesn't give you an expression pedal for whining or voluming. It doesn't give you XLR out. It doesn't give you a battery. It doesn't give you Bluetooth MIDI. So you see, it has a lot to offer. And really, I think the only compromise is a modeling engine that's on par with something that existed maybe, 7-8 years ago. Other companies have similar sounds in that price range, but I'm really impressed with the fact that it has the battery and that for that price you can really just buy it and take it on vacation and throw it in your gig bag, or again have it as one of your first devices because that's all the money you have. So honestly, even with its compromised and not stellar sound quality, the bang for the bucketness with the Mk300 is pretty impressive, if you ask me. Now, with all the amps I have and running studios and stuff, would I buy this? No, because I have amps and I have every model on the planet. Would I recommend this to a kid saying, look, I have $400, what should I get? Well, you can get yourself some Harley Benton guitar and this, and you're off to the races. You got a lot of things to get started. On a budget, great. I have a modeler, but I want something as a backup in case that hangs itself up. A quad cortex will stall on you. It happens. Having a backup thing that you put a couple of presets in, absolutely great. There are many reasons why the Mk300 for the price is a great choice. I'll put links below. I think it's Amazon or wherever. And we have animals at the end, as always.